Hello, hello, hello there, my friends. How are you? I hope that you are well. This is Nicole M. Louis, the social worker strategy mentor. If this is the first time that you're catching one of my impromptu lives, then my name's Nicole Louis. Welcome. It's nice to meet you. And if you have seen some of my lives before, welcome back. This is really I'm just checking in and saying hello, and just wanted to share something really quickly. But yeah, I wanted to say hello to you. It's been a little while since I did a live, and this is very impromptu. It wasn't yet planned because I've been head down, bottom up, doing lots of bits and pieces in preparation for a wonderful webinar that I have coming up with the lovely Dr. Neil Thompson. We're going to be doing this for semi-independent social workers. So if you are semi-independent and you're interested in understanding how to become independent, what you need to do to become fully independent in as little as within a year, then you want to be at this webinar that we're going to be doing together. It's going to be brilliant. We've got some wonderful information for you and ways that you're able to get some assistance and help to get you really catapulted and on that journey. So that's happening on this Sunday. And I will put a link in the comments for you to be able to see, or you can go to the website www.nicolemlouis.com and the details will be there. So yeah, I wanted just to check in with you. I hope that your week has been brilliant. It's Friday. The weekend is officially here. And I wanted to just jump on quickly because I'm in some groups on Facebook, and sometimes I get people asking me questions in my DMs, and sometimes I see questions within those groups. And on one occasion, I saw a question about somebody who was just really a social worker specifically, who was just questioning where they were in their role and in their career, and really questioning whether they wanted to continue doing it. And I think at one point in our lives, everyone has kind of had that experience, right? They've thought about, like, why am I here? Why am I doing this? Why did I decide to become a social worker again? Especially when, you know, we did have to deal with crisis and things pop up. And so I shared some information with her that she was really grateful for. She came back and said, thank you so much. I hadn't thought about doing this. So I thought I'd share it because somebody else might find it beneficial, another social worker out there. I know there are quite a number. I mean, I've spoken to somebody yesterday who's just joined the Launchers Club, who was talking about the same thing, like saying that they're just not happy where they are. They've made a sidestep within the industry and thought that that would have been better, but they're still not feeling fulfilled or happy. The caseloads are still really high. So you know, this is something that I think happens wherever you are in the world. This person isn't even in the UK, they're abroad, they're in South Africa. And so this is something that is really relevant, I think, to a lot of social workers anywhere in the world who are really wanting a change. So hopefully this information will be helpful for you. So please like it, please share, and also please comment, like if there are any things that you have that you can contribute to this conversation, put it in the comments. I would love to hear it. There isn't just one or two ways of doing things. Everybody's got an idea, and so the more the merrier. So okay, so let's dive into it. This is what I shared there. So she was basically saying that she was in a job, she was kind of feeling quite under pressure, as we do with the workload and the amount of different processes that she was dealing with. And she said that her manager was saying, well, you know, look, it's only going to get worse because there's more to come, there's more work on the way, and this is just what it's like. And I think that she was either in her last phase of studies, where she was kind of doing a placement and, you know, working at the same time, either that or she had just finished her placement, her studies, and was now in her new role. But when you're in a new role, your caseload is kind of protected for a few months before they kind of let you go off into the world, you know, without the protection. The protection is really a limited caseload, ensuring that you're definitely getting supervision. And that's if you're not on a particular program, which I think they call here the AYSE, which is like you do that for a year or two when you've just become qualified. So it's like an additional course. I mean, I don't really understand why they have it when you've just done a 3-year degree, but I think the point of it is just to spend time cementing from the practical point of view all that you've learned and getting that protected caseload. So I think that's the thinking behind it. And some people really like it, some people are kind of like, eh. So anyway, that was her position. I think she was just feeling very discouraged from what the manager had said, and wasn't really expecting that maybe. And so it got her thinking, like, if this is what it's like now, I don't know that I want to wait for it to get any worse or for it to continue like this. I don't know that I like this. I don't know that I'm in the right job. I don't know if this is really what I should be doing. Like all the stuff started coming up around, and you could just hear it in the post that she wrote. Like, you could hear that she was just really now undecided. I mean, she had spent all her time and money, effort, everything, commitment in doing a 3-year course, a 3-year degree, right? And she's now in placement. She may have relocated. Some people relocate. Some people, you know, it impacts their home life in terms of relocation, finances, because they're either having to get a loan now to fund this course. Do you know what I mean? Like, those are big things. And as a result of being in the reality of the job, she was thinking, like, is this for me? I don't know whether I want to do this anymore. I don't know. And maybe she may have even started thinking, I don't know if I'm good at this. You know, if I can't cope now, what does this mean about my abilities as a social worker? Like, those are the kind of undercurrent themes that start being generated in our subconscious without us even knowing. Now, that didn't necessarily play out in what she was saying, but that just got me thinking just now that actually that's kind of the natural course of where it could go to. So anyway, so this is what I said to her around what she's able to do to get clarity, because ultimately that's what she was asking for. She was saying, what do I do in this situation? Like, this is how I'm feeling. I'm feeling negative right now. I'm feeling scared. I'm feeling worried. That those are the kind of feelings and emotions that I was picking up from what she was saying. And so I said to her, first and foremost, like, block out the noise, i.e. your manager and what your manager's saying. Block out the voices of other people that might be saying to you, gosh, you're always working late, or, you know, why did you do this job again? You know, kind of thing. Like, block all that noise out, and you need to sit with yourself, and you need to go back to basics and ask yourself, why? Why did I embark on this journey? Yeah, why did I embark on this journey? Why did I decide I wanted to become a social worker? When did I decide that? What was happening at that time in my life that made me think this would be a good idea? And what was it that I was hoping to achieve from it? So, for example, is it that you want to make a contribution to the particular field of social work in which you're working? Is it that you wanted to have, you know, make a greater impact in the lives of those whom you're serving? Is it that you went into it for the money? Because some people do that. I don't know why, because it's not, I mean, over here, it ain't paying that great, in my view, for what we do and the risks that we carry. But some people go into it for the money. I can remember there was somebody on the course that I was in. That's why he was on the course. He wanted to just make lots of money, because that's where the money is, in residential centers, and open up a residential center. I mean, it's beyond me, but hey, some people might want to do social work for money. Okay. So whatever the reason is, like, what is the why? Is it that, you know, I've also met people on my course who had been looked after children themselves and had experienced being in the care system, and they wanted to make a difference, you know, in the lives of other children who were looked after. They wanted to maybe be able to do a better job, what they saw as a better job of being a social worker to children in need, because maybe their social worker wasn't showing up as much as they wanted them to. There are lots of different reasons. And so first thing is, like, find out the why. That's what I said to her. You need to go back and look at why did you embark on this journey, because that's really what's going to be your basis. Okay. So then I suggested that make a list of all the things right now that are making you unhappy. What is it? Is it the caseload? Is it the time? Is it the travel that you have to do to get to work? Never mind the amount of travel within, because when you've got to go and do your visits, depending on what kind of borough you're working in, there can be half an hour in between, you know, the office and the the client's home, and if their client's not there and you've got to do your half hour, you've just wasted an hour. Do you know what I mean? Like, so what are the things that are making you unhappy? Is it the pay? Is it the level of support that you're getting, or lack of support? Is it a particular manager or colleagues? Is it that you're working in isolation? And that is obviously going to be contextual now, considering that we're in the midst of a pandemic, and that's going to be maybe more prevalent now. But put that kind of on the shelf in terms of, because that's usually not going to be the only thing. Now, if that is a big thing and that's what's causing you right now to rethink, then fair enough, absolutely put it in. But what else is it? Is it that it's actually impacting your personal life, where you're now not getting much time to see your partner and it's affecting the relationship? Is it that you're not seeing your children as much as you'd like to and they're complaining? Because when I've been working in local authorities, I've had my colleagues tell me that, like, their children are asking them, "Mum, why aren't you home? We miss you, you're always working." What are the things that's making you unhappy, is what I said to her. Make a list of that, and why are they making you unhappy? And then also write down a list of what is working well and why. So what's going well? Is it that actually it's a really cushy number? It's right around the corner from me. The visits are relatively close. And so right now I'm kind of working a lot from home because of the pandemic. So that's great. And even when I wasn't, it was flexible. Or right now I'm doing condensed hours. So that works for me really well. It means that I'm not sacrificing so much of, time with my family and other things that I want to do. The pay, you're happy with the pay, whatever it is. Like, you've got lovely colleagues that are so helpful, and you've got a good team, and the borough has really good resources for you to tap into. Whatever it is, like, write a list and write down the why. So you've got these lists. Then what you want to be doing is checking and comparing, I said, between the two lists, and check for any patterns that are coming up. So to see if there are conflicts as well with, like, your values and the things that are important to you right now as to what your why was. Yeah. So with a reason why I came, is this now a challenge and compromising the value that you have as to why you started doing this job? That's what I said to her. That's going to be important. And then you want to really challenge yourself also to see if there's anything on that list that is really a deal breaker for you. Like, this is something that I won't compromise on in terms of my why. Or these things, okay, like, I've learned more about the job, and maybe I was a bit naive then as to why I was coming in. Be really balanced, but be willing to challenge yourself and say, yeah, this is like a deal breaker. I'm not willing to compromise on this, and stand your ground and consider whether you have already compromised on it. And similarly, like, if it's not a deal breaker and you are being unrealistic, again, challenge yourself and be honest and say, okay, so there's probably some additional learning I might need to do in this area. Yeah. So those are things that I said for her to do, to start off with. And I said that by doing that task, you're going to be clear about the elements of social work practice that are must-haves for you, and those that you just won't entertain, because that's ultimately, again, what she was asking for, is the clarity about what should she do. But you're only going to know what to do if you understand why you're in it in the first place, and understanding what is important to you and your value base. Yeah. Like, there are things that sometimes you might need to compromise on that you're just not willing to. I know I've experienced that, and I've flat out said, no, I'm not going to do something, and that's just what it is. So you've got to be clear about that. And I said, once you've done that, you can then start taking action. So I've written down here, you can search for a role in an alternative social work field. So if you're in children, you might want to go to adults. And from what I understand, that's like from the frying pan into the fire. It's like, it's no different. It doesn't seem to matter where you go in social work. I think it's all a much of a muchness. But yeah, you might decide you're going to go into fostering or adoption, or you might do school social work or whatever. You might sidestep that. You could take action and decide to take on a different role. Yeah. Or you might look at a workspace. So it might be saying, you know what, I need to work from home a bit more, and negotiate that. You might also negotiate, the second thing I said, you might want to negotiate better terms. So again, advocating for yourself and negotiating a suitable caseload, and saying, like, when you're at capacity and you really can't take any more, and why. And maybe even asking for condensed hours. I think social workers maybe miss that. Sometimes you need to be asking for condensed hours, and it's better you I know that you're doing the same amount of work in a shorter space of time, but what it does is it gives you a day or two, depending on what you negotiate, to breathe a bit more. You can actually take that one other day and say, do you know what, this is a day I'm going to use for myself. It's a day that I'm going to spend more time with hubby or wifey, or it's going to be a day that I spend more time with my children, or just doing some more self-care stuff, or planning for independence, or, you know, spending time with my friends that I haven't seen in a while, or just sitting down and, you know, taking a bit of a break. Maybe it's taking some time to do reading, because I think the times that we do ask for condensed hours is when we're going to study something that's social work related, and of course work will always allow us to do that, but actually they've got a duty of care to you in terms of your self-care as well. And so being really clear and negotiating, and if they value you as an employee and enjoy your work, then they would be willing to negotiate with you. They will be. So that's something to do. And I think, you know, I just want to say to anyone who's listening that is maybe going through that season where you're just thinking like, am I in the right place right now? Like, why am I doing this? I'm really not happy. You know, do those exercises, go through that process and think about it, and start then taking action in a very strategic way where you're willing to, you know, advocate for yourself. Because that's what I say this like on every live, like as a social worker, if you can't advocate for yourself, you can't advocate for anyone else. And a big part of our work is advocacy, right? We're advocating for children who, when we're in the child protection arena, we're advocating for adults who might not have capacity. If we're in the adults department, you know, that's what we're doing. If we're in the adoption team, we're advocating for the children that need to be adopted. You know, if we can't even advocate for ourselves, how are we doing a stellar job of advocating for others? That's just crazy. Yeah. So charity begins at home. So we have to start working on ourselves and start piping up and taking action. So it means being really clear and being willing to say when you need help, and being clear in saying when you'd like, maybe you might have another idea and you can put something to them where, you know, they could create a whole new role for somebody, you know, and they might be willing to do that, and you step into that role. You know, again, when you're a valued member of staff, they are willing to keep you. Okay, but it's important that you feel happy in where you are in life right now and in your career. And I think that's especially important with the climate that we're in, where there's so much change and there's so much unpredictability. Like, there needs to be things that are stable, like your home life needs to be stable, and as far as possible your work life needs to be stable. It needs to be a happy environment. It needs to be something that you look forward to doing and that you enjoy. And if it's not doing that, then it's time to really rethink. So I just wanted to share that with you, really, and share what I discussed, or what you know, what I shared with her, and I hope that that's helpful. And so if you're watching, I'm streaming to different places. So again, if you're maybe commenting, I haven't seen your comments, I'll go in and check it after I'm streaming, or here on Facebook and on YouTube, the channel. So like, click and subscribe if you're on YouTube, and if you're on Facebook, you can like the page, which is Social Workers Breaking the Mold, and obviously connect with me as well, which is great. And I'm on Instagram, Twitter I don't look at, but apparently I have a follower on Twitter. I don't know why they're following me, I'm never on there. But yeah, so it was lovely to have a chat, and I will look forward to going into the comments and just saying hello to anybody. And again, if you're just watching this now or just tuned in now, I will be partnering with my buddy Neil Thompson, Dr. Neil Thompson, an author in social work and lecturer and independent himself, and we're teaming up again to deliver to semi-independent this time, how they are able to become fully independent within a year. And we're going to be giving you the nuggets to really develop and amplify your practice. So I am super excited to be delivering that with Neil, and please spread the word, share this video so that other people can hear about what I do and what's happening on Sunday, and also just the nuggets that I shared about if you're having doubts about your career right now, or at a bit of a crossroad, maybe what you can do. So looking forward to connecting. Have a beautiful weekend, whatever you do, and stay warm and safe. And I will speak to you very soon. Bye.